Hello, I'm Kimberly from Kimberly's Mindstorm, and I've had some kind of new things happening to me this year. I got a new job. I am now a librarian at a K through 8th school and also the technology teacher, which is something they're kind of blending a lot in Georgia, media in all of its forms. So book form and computer tech device form as well, and different things of that nature. And so my students are really into graphic novels, and I've been wanting to read more graphic novels. So when some arrived, I read them over so I could kind of review them and tell the kids about them, and I fell in love with a few. And some others I got for myself before because I wanted to read a few more of that style of book. So today I'm going to share those books with you in hopes that it kind of gets your interest sparked a little bit. Maybe you'll read some of these, or if you're just curious about more graphic novels that you could pick up. The first one is called Binky the Space Cat. Now, out of all the ones I read, this was one of my favorites, if not my very favorite. I now love Binky. Binky is an adorable little cat, but he's not a normal cat. He is a space cat. He has never been to outer space though, and outer space is what he thinks of as outside of his house. And it's just a really cute story about like alien invader bugs and how he protects his people. And he has a little mouse friend that goes with him, and it's just really adorable how the author has portrayed Binky in his space adventures to protect his people. Right here I have Binky the Space Cat, which is the first book. And then it goes to Binky to the Rescue, and this is where somehow he gets outside of his space center, his space station, and to the real outside, and he has to find his way back and save his friend's head. And then it has Binky Under Pressure. And there are a few more, but these are the three that I read, and I just love Binky now. So it's one, if you haven't picked up a graphic novel yet, it's a quick read, and it just has really adorable pictures, and Binky is wonderful. So definitely pick up Binky the Space Cat. Worth it. 5 stars. The next book that I suggest you go out and pick up is Rollergirl. Now this is one that they had in the library, but I actually was given this book by my sister. Rollergirl is about a girl named Astrid, and she goes to all these different places with her mother and her best friend Nicole. Normally it's like the museum and different orchestras and these very classical events to try to broaden her mind, but then her mom takes her to a roller game. I forget what it's called, but you know, where they have the girls and they go around in a circle, and it's just like a roller rinkish game. I probably should know that. I can look it up. Let's see. Roller derby. That's what it's called. So they take her to a roller derby, and so she gets really excited about the game. So it's not like anything she's really experienced. She really has a passion for this, and so they have like a camp, and Astrid signs up, but then her best friend Nicole doesn't. And it kind of is a coming of age story and kind of who your real friends are and why. And it was really smartly told story. I know that's not a word, smartly told, kind of backwards being that it has smart in it. But hopefully you know what I'm getting towards. It was a well-told story, even for, you know, someone who wasn't the age of the main character, which I think she's supposed to be, you know, preteen. But it's a really good book. It has a lot more diversity than I've seen in some other books, so it's worth checking out, Rollergirl. The next book I have for you guys is Hamster and Cheese. And it has wonderful pictures. It's just very colorful, and the story's super cute. It's appropriate for any age, you know, so if you have any younger siblings or you, I enjoyed these. Really fun, colorful. It's about a guinea pig and his escapades in this pet store where he's like a detective. Kind of doesn't want to be a detective in the beginning, but his other little friend helps him, his little hamster that wants to be a koala. He calls himself a koala. So it's just super cute. I can show you some of the illustrations in here, but it's just very colorful and just very fun. Definitely worth looking at if you want some more graphic novels in your life. The next one is the Babysitters Club, and this is of course a remake into a graphic novel from the original Babysitters Club novels. And this is the same illustrator as the Rollergirl book, and hopefully they'll have more of those. Hopefully that becomes a series, but I don't know. Right now it's just the one book. But the illustrations are beautiful and really in-depth. And as you know, the whole novel had good stories. That whole series went on for a really long time, so there's a lot of good content in here. So if you're in like a book slump or you don't know what to read, read a graphic novel. It's kind of an easy read, easier than those big old thick, you know, dramatic fantasy reads, which I also love dearly. But if you're not wanting to get into something that deep, this kind of has the illustrations to help you along, and it still has a really meaningful story. I've read some other graphic novels that are a bit, you know, have dicier or riskier content in them, so they're for people that are a bit older than the Babysitter Club series. But they're also great reads, and they can really get you thinking. So I definitely suggest you pick them up, or at least try some of these. Next is the Amulet series. Now this is another one that the kids in school just die for. They love this. It's super popular. Won't stay on the shelf for, you know, more than a class or two, then somebody else comes in and checks it out. So the Amulet series, and there's 7 right now in the series, I think 8. The 8th one's coming out. And I know somehow it's about a magical amulet and it takes them places, or they have to go into a council. It gets very fantasy-esque in there. But the illustrations are beautiful. Before the authors and illustrators did this series, he was really famous for another series called Flight that's more adult-based, but it's just really beautiful and really in-depth illustrations. And I've heard a really good story. Like I say, it doesn't stay on the shelf much, but I still have to read this one. The same illustrator has done the Explorer series, which we also have, and again, beautiful illustrations. I think these are more pieces of stories, so it's more of a magazine-ish feel where you read a little bit of the story and then you have to get the next book to either continue that story or it might start over a whole new story. But it's not straight through like some of the other graphic novels are. So you have little chunks of stories, again, which would be good if you're kind of in a reading slump and you don't know what to read, just want to read something short and quick. I know it has different stories in here. And again, beautiful illustrations. As you can see, I would like to be in this place, and it has an aura of mystery. So just really fun books to kind of get lost in if you like that visual artistic style. Again, just really, really pretty illustrations. This book is the second book in the Princeless series. I know this book is wonderful for diversity. It has a great diverse cast of characters, strong female characters, and this is the second one. So the first one I haven't read. This one is new to our library, so I just picked this one up, and I'm going to have to give it a read. I've heard many people, especially girls, started reading more graphic novels when this came out, and they could see themselves as the main characters, which makes sense. We need more of that. We need more diversity in all fields of literature. This next graphic novel I actually saw when I was at DragonCon not too long ago, and I still am going to put up my blog for that. But it's called Hero Cats of Stellar City, and I picked it up, and the illustrations are what got me. They're just really beautifully done, and as you can see, I have 3 of them here. I think there's 3 or 4 so far, and they're just extremely colorful and beautiful. And the last book I have for you today is called Red's Planet. Now, I picked this up because first I think it was done by somebody that had to do with Phineas and Ferb. I'm not sure if it's the illustrator or the writers or maybe even the producers. I don't know, but I heard that and I think that cartoon's hilarious. And so I picked this up, and it's about a girl named Red who wants a perfect life. She dreams of a better life than she has. Right now she's in the foster care system with a family, and when she's dreaming of a better life, things happen and she gets abducted by aliens. And I think she stows away somehow. And she crash lands on a different planet. And then she has to kind of make her way and survive on that planet with other kind of misfit aliens. And again, beautiful illustrations. And more in-depth story than some of the other ones that may be kind of short and just kind of fun. This one has that fun element to it, but it also goes a little bit deeper. And I think this is one where you could read between the lines as well. So a younger audience would love it because it's colorful and funny and fast-moving. And a more mature, older audience would also enjoy reading it just because you see a little bit in there that the younger ones wouldn't see. The same with Rollergirl. You know, I think if you read between the lines a little bit, you can see a little bit more to those stories than other people might, if that makes sense. Well, that is all for me today, and thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye! Read Binky the Space Cat, because your cat might be a space cat, and you need to know.